Hey everybody, it's good to see you all again. This segment is just to kind of let you guys know what is going on in this episode. So, in this episode, there is a situation. Towards the end, or anywhere in this episode, there is a blank. That means there's no sound coming in the episode, and you might think that is your fault. That is my fault. You can blame me, say it was my fault, because that is an editing problem, and that's because of recording and the recording platform that I use. If that happens to be in the episode, if that's in it, what you need to do is to just disregard it. Don't worry about it. Consider it like an ad break. Consider it like a break. Consider it like we're taking a 5 minute break. Consider it like that. So, no freaking out. No need to worry. Make sure you guys enjoy the episode, enjoy what's in it, and y'all have a good one. And enjoy this one. Really enjoy it and have fun. And please disregard the blanks in there, consider them breaks. Hope you guys enjoy this episode and thank you guys for understanding and for your cooperation. Hey everybody. Welcome to a, well, in my opinion, very special, but out there is a regular episode. Today, in well, my opinion, one of the greatest writers ever on RapPad. This is Ross Wilson. Say hey to everybody.
Hello. It's good to be here. Been a while since I've actually done anything rapping wise. Like I haven't released anything for a while, so it's good to actually speak to somebody about rapping. I've been quite busy, so it's nice to be here.
Nice. And today also, y'all know Ecstasy. He's not very active, so today I have like a mock co-host. Just a little placement, but like so maybe placement. It's HB, my old pal. Hey.
Hi there again.
I've been here 3 times.
Another time, another dime.
Okay, don't say that one. Please don't.
It's a football type of.
Oh, okay. Let's just forget you said that.
Okay.
Let's just forget you said that.
Yeah,
Let's just forget that.
I'm trying to be kind of like a funny guy.
Okay. Now, Ross. A lot of people don't really know you that well, so this is the time to give an introduction. Just a little something about you.
Suppose in a rapping sense, I kind of just I was sitting with my friends, and you always have this scenario where people always say like, "I can do that," and then people almost never do it. Like people can always say that it's easy to do something. Like I guess in like football or soccer terms, like somebody will say like, "I could have scored that goal," and I kind of was just messing about with my friends, and we were talking about it, and I was like, rapping doesn't seem that complicated. I could probably do that, and that's pretty much how I started to get into rap, and then I kind of found RapPad maybe a couple of weeks in, and the tool kind of helped me figure out how to rap and rhyme around that, and that kind of like brought me into like the rap world, and I've kind of just been making songs.
I can
just
relate.
writing bars since.
I can relate to that because I like soccer and football, and I've played both. Soccer, I was on a team. I did okay. Of course, you always are gonna be like, I'm gonna do really good. I'm gonna be like the best player on the team. But when you really get into the sport, like actually play it, you're not expecting to be bad. You're expecting to be great. But the problem is when you do that, you have the only good thing from that is you have the expectation to do good, which is good because you're having a good set of mind that you want to have. But the problem is you need to do it first to experience what it really feels like to do. And that's what I felt like with rap as well.
You can't learn how to drive until you actually get behind the wheel and start messing about with the steering wheel, and I guess in my country changing gears and stuff like that as well. So it's like anything, and a lot of people just, it's a sitting back nature. It's kind of a good, it's a good mental block to go over, because if you start actually, you see you can do something, just trying it and doing it, then you realise that you can learn and do things quite quickly when you just put your mind to it. It's more to do with the fact that the initial learning is quite difficult. Like, probably what makes rap difficult for a lot of people. Like, learning the fundamentals isn't clear within rap. Like, it's hard to spell out exactly what the fundamentals are, whereas within like a sport or a team game, like the fundamentals are more obvious. Like, the fundamentals are like soccer, or like first touch, short, long passing, ability to shoot. Like, that's obvious, and then you can get a bunch of mini drills within that to then fine tune that skill to the point where you can become a professional. But within rap, it's kind of ambiguous how you would then translate from being someone who starts writing and then just gradually getting better. That's been the hardest part about rap, for me at least. It's never obvious what you should be getting better at, or why you should be getting better at it, or then once you are better at something, what's the next step to take to keep rounding yourself out. And I think that's a mistake a lot of people make. They kind of like corner themselves off and only learn certain skill sets and then master those skill sets and never really branch out into learning different aspects of rap, or miss a fundamentally rap as they're building their skill set and never ever get back and learn it properly, like timings or your rhyme schemes. Sometimes people just don't learn how to rap on beat. And that's one of the most fundamental things within rap. If you can't rap on beat, you're pretty much not rapping. And everything else is that you're right. You could be the best writer in the world, but if you can't stay on beat, then nobody's ever going to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you, 100%. And following on your vision, a lot of people out there are different musicians, and they do not know you. And well, they're going to know you now, but they want to get an inside look at your life. Well, your life in music, because this is what the podcast is all about. So let's go back in history a little bit, traveling back in time, to the very beginning. So, how did the journey with music start for you?
I suppose the person in my life I used to be the most is my dad, and the earliest music I can remember listening to was Cypress Hill's Black Sunday and the early Eminem albums, and those were kind of like the foundation for at least my love of rap. Because in Scotland generally, it's not a big ticket genre. There'll not let people listen to rap. I don't know if it's the case in the modern generation, like maybe the younger generation listened to rap more often than what my generation did. But within my generation, I was one of the few people I knew that actually enjoyed rap music. It's not a mainstream genre in Scotland, and some of that's because we don't have a mainstream rapper because of our accent. Really, it's hard for me to express something in a Scottish accent and then expect people to listen to it and translate it when it can be difficult to understand what I'm saying. So, like, it was mainly just Black Sunday and early Eminem, then transitioning into 50 Cent. Because I grew up in Eminem's, the birth of Eminem. I can remember when Eminem started. I can remember when 50 started as well. And those were like the two big artists. But the album, number one album, is probably Black Sunday by Cypress Hill. I know pretty much every word to all the songs. My dad used to listen to it. It's a weird one, that one as well. It's a weird story attached to that. Because my dad didn't listen to rap music until he was at work one day and somebody had chucked the album over a fence, and he found the album just like lying in the grass, and he picked it up and put it in, put the CD in his car and listened to it and he enjoyed it. And that's pretty much how I got into rap music. Some random person chucked a CD over a fence. So if you're the time travelling person who chucked that CD over that fence, just remember to chuck that CD over the fence so that I can get into rap music, because that was probably the fundamental part. Like, my dad was never into rap music until I listened to that album. Could have been Eminem if somebody had left that album in that place. Happenstance, really.
Oh, wow. That also from Randall. Okay, never heard that one. Insight. HB, want to ask one?
Okay. Let me think. when you first started rapping, how did you think you would do, and how would you execute your raps then and now? Do you feel like you're better then, or you're better now that in the present? You better in the present, or you better in the past?
I think there's elements of what I was doing when I first started that were actually quite good, but I didn't really everything I've ever wrote on RapPad. Well, not everything I've ever wrote. Everything I've ever wrote to release is on RapPad. Like I always wrote everything I've ever wrote in raps on RapPad in some sense or the other. That's like my cloud storage where I keep my raps, and then I can just get them emailed to me every couple of months. And I have like a text storage, everything that I've ever wrote. But like, when I first started, it's like there's a rawness to when you're learning. Like your learning curve when you first start is so much more to learn, and you're so much open to learning. And yeah, I think maybe even if I look at myself now, maybe I'm like, you can get trapped down certain channels and it can make it difficult for you to learn, but you're pretty much a blank canvas at the start. You can learn anything from anywhere at any given time, so it's easier to learn. Kind of like plateau out at times when you get to certain stages in your development. So I would say it was definitely better now, only because with time you're just learning fundamentals. Like everything takes time, and you eventually, if you just keep practicing and writing, you understand how to stay on beat. You understand how to place your rhymes, and then how to add a melody to your rhymes, and then top of that, how to then weave those lyrics with the rhyme schemes, the melody, and staying on beat all at the same time. So I would say I was definitely better than when I started, but there's an element of when I started that I do miss, just that initial learning period where you're just open to anything, because you can be any rapper at that point in time. So, because for me, at least at that point in time, I was listening to a lot of Biggie, so that's how my rap style has evolved to be that kind of style. But if I was listening to a lot of Eminem in that period of time, or maybe I was listening to somebody like Nate Dogg or something, you'd maybe have a completely different style that actually came out. Because when I learned the fundamentals of rap, everything you learn in the first couple of weeks or the first couple of months, anything that you learn translates to almost everything you learn on top of that. That's why when you start to learn something at the start, it's very important that you learn it properly, because if you have any bad habits or any flaws that you have will be created in the first months of your learning, and then you have to then spend months and months trying to outright those wrongs afterwards. So the initial learning period is very important. So once you get past that initial learning period, you definitely improve. It's hard not to improve as long as you're applying yourself properly, and then making sure that you're putting in the time and effort. Because as long as you put the time in, fine.
That was interesting. That was very insightful for all beginning rappers.
Totally agree 100%. And following on that, here's a good one, and this is gonna add to my long list. Which, by the way, I don't have my camera on, but I have a long list of artists I have. So, what inspired you the most? What's your biggest inspiration in the music game?
It depends, because obviously, like, you'd assume doing rap that my favourite artists would be rappers, but my favourite artists aren't actually rappers. My favourite artist is probably Michael Jackson, and I really like Bruno Mars, quite like Nina Simone. Like, I like singers. I could listen to Adele. I'm known to listen to Little Mix songs. Like, I like all kind of like singing songs. I like anybody who can actually sing. I'm kind of like, I like singing. The problem with rap is like I've said earlier when I was talking to you before we started recording, like the generation of rap's moved. So the only rap music that I can listen to has already been done. And in the 90s, nobody's producing any rap music for me in the modern day, because the generation has moved past my rap music. So I tend to listen to singers more often. So for me, it's probably Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars, maybe Nina Simone as well. Probably other singers that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. But rap-wise, it would be Big Daddy Kane, Biggie Smalls, Snoop Dogg, maybe like Nate Dogg. I quite like Nate Dogg. There's a lot of them really. Eminem's there, but I only really like early Eminem, because Eminem's styles evolved 4 or 5 different times, so kind of like different artists each time. But I suppose you could make that argument for Snoop Dogg as well. So depends on how you look at it. But there's a lot of artists, but I would say that I have a wide spectrum of artists that I would listen to on a daily basis if I was listening to music. Like, try to keep an open mind to everything involving music, because like there's always something out there to enjoy, and if you don't keep your mind open, then you're closed-minded to a song you may actually like. Like some of the Little Mix songs are very female-centric, but the instrumental and the energy and how their vocals sing, I just enjoy listening to that type of music because it takes skill. Of course, there's like After Effects editing, maybe even auto-tuning, but anybody doing a skill, a high level skill, like a singing like a Michael Jackson, you can appreciate that. That's why those people like transcend.
That was interesting. Okay, you have a large variety. I like all those artists for real, though. I love
Yeah,
singers
there's
too.
not. I don't really know anybody who would say that they don't like those artists. Maybe the specifics. Maybe some people like Adele, for example. But I think if you listen to Adele's songs, like there's no way that you can say Adele's songs are bad. I don't know if you've listened to Adele personally, but like there's no like it might not appeal to you personally, but I can appreciate the skill, talent, and the voice, unrivaled.
Yeah, can't say I don't agree. Huh. Alright, HB, you have one?
Do you feel like RapPad has changed over the past couple of months or years? Or just how has it changed?
My problem was I came in at the end of when RapPad was probably at its busiest in terms of like, traffic, so I went through the period of time where it was probably at its quietest. It seems to be doing better over the last maybe year, I think, because it was quite buggy for a while. Like you couldn't really send out feedback. Some people couldn't comment. Your account would get locked. You couldn't log in. There was just a bunch of issues, small issues that I think Amir and Milton have done a good job fixing over the last couple of months, which has helped make the site be a bit more usable for people. But I think it's doing all right. I think there's a decent quality of people at the top end, but the problem with the top end is the top end is dominated by the same people. It really needs to be like a wider variety of type of music at the top end because it's mainly the same people making the same type of music. It's not like I don't know really what I mean with that. There's just a fixed amount of style. Like I feel like everybody's rapping relatively the same at the top end of RapPad right now. It's all that kind of same like that modernised style. Like you never really see like something like a Croc for me within his style is just as skillful as somebody at the top end of a modern style, but because Crocs try to represent an accent and a style that people don't always listen to, it's harder for him to translate to a mainstream the way that like a Mike Parker might in comparison with the exact same accent, because Mike Parker brings like a modernised style.
I see. I like where your head's at. Alright, in a alternate universe, what would happen if you were not a musician? Like, what would
For me
happen?
personally, music's pretty much just a hobby. Like I write music, and until COVID, I would just go to a couple of mics maybe once a month, and then just mess about. Really, like it's just really just a socialization thing. You kick about with your friends that ask you to do it. You mess about really, because in my personal life, I'm a software developer. I'm kind of like because I'm older than you guys, so I've actually got a job and stuff. So I'm kind of in my career right now. I would if everybody would like to do a hobby as a job, of course. I don't have any serious ambitions of stepping outside of a hobby, because the second like at one point in time, software development was something I enjoyed and was my hobby. Now it's my job. I don't enjoy it as much because I have to commit X amount of hours a day, and it's a career. It sometimes takes the enjoyment out of what you're trying to do. Whereas with rap, for me, because it's just simply a hobby, anytime I feel like rapping, I sit down, I write. Anytime I want to make a song, I sit down and make a song. I enjoy the whole process, and it's the same for other type of hobbies that I would have as well. But the second that I decide that I want to be a rapper, but comes real pressure, comes expectations, and it's like at the end of the day, I'm enjoying what I'm doing just as a hobby. And it doesn't mean necessarily that, because some people get that confused where they think that because I see it as a hobby, I'm not taking my improvement as seriously as I'm taking my improvement as seriously as anybody. But I don't don't have serious ambitions of trying to make this my career because I already have one, if that makes sense.
I see it. All right, thanks for that little response. Trying to kill this awkwardness, so I'm talking like this. It's a new strategy.
Yeah.
Oh, don't judge me.
Okay.
All right.
I'll say my question. Okay. If you had a choice to be a rapper or to be whatever your lifelong dream is, how would you get there? I know this is not a question about RapPad or anything, but how would you get to
Being
where
a
would you want to be?
professional rapper.
Yeah, how would you get there?
I think that's a good question, but I think also a difficult question because if I knew how to get there, then I would probably be there. Like everybody, quite. It's hard to tell because music itself is so subjective. You're never going to know how somebody else is going to react to your music because, like, you can write your own. Like sometimes when you write lyrics, right, you can write lyrics and see the lyrics that you think are the worst lyrics or the lyrics that people quote. They'll say, "Oh, that lyric was really good." I'm like, "Mate, I wrote that. I thought that was the worst lyric of the 16, and that's the one you pointed out to me." So you never really know how people are going to react to a certain lyric or a certain song that you make. So it makes it very difficult to then have an overarching view of how to then translate yourself to being at the top because it's so subjective and how to get there, and you're trying to understand how everybody else thinks and how everybody else perceives a creative process that's only really comes from one person if you're original. So it's hard to tell how people will perceive what you're doing. For me personally, the easiest thing to do is like try and identify like what are the fundamentals of rap. For me, it's same rhymes and flows. Like that's what rap was built on initially when it was first made in the early and the late 80s. It was all built around just a rhyme and a flow and the beat. It's evolved a bit since then, but for me fundamentally I just make sure that my rhyme schemes are tight. Like I need to make sure that I can use every type of rhyme and then make sure that I have enough rhymes within my song. So I look for like a high rhyme style. I usually go for a lot of single and maybe double rhymes. And then on top of that you've got flow, which is essentially the ability to keep on the beat and then apply a melody to what you've written. That's the difference between a good rapper and a great rapper. A good rapper can do 4 out of 5 of those things, and then a great rapper can do 5 out of 5. But the key part is finding out what the fundamentals are within your style, mastering fundamentals, and then you can branch out and build on your fundamentals. And then after that, it's mainly just about, I think, opportunity meeting luck at the right time. You need somebody who has the ability to give you the opportunity, and for that you need to be lucky. So I think it's just something.
All right. Thanks for that. No response.
I'm here.
So being a rapper yourself, what would be your dream collaboration, or do you have any dream collaborations? Anyone in RapPad or outside? Any dream?
My favourite artist person RapPad, everybody knows, is Average Joe, and I've been doing features with Average Joe for the last couple of months now, so we're trying to make stuff together. And some of that for me when it comes to Average Joe is he just happens to be the person on the site that has all the elements I enjoy about rap, like we talked about rhymes and flows, and he also speaks in it to be in a way that other people's music doesn't. Like Joe has a way of writing kind of emotional piece, can describe, because I was your age at one point, right? I was young at one point. I had all the same kind of like teenage kind of like anxiety and emotion and social pressure. And like Joe for me is a master expressing what it's like to be a young teenager transitioning to be an adult. And I've just came through that person. I'm 25 now, right? So I've just transitioned to being like a fully fledged adult. But 2 or 3 years ago I was just a young adult like everybody else. I was 22, 21. I was in the exact same circumstance, and he speaks to the situation that you're going through. Because there's one of his lyrics talks about how he wants to keep in contact with his friends, but he can't because he's lazy and it's hard to write back. That's exactly what it's like. Sometimes people just message you, and then you go, I just can't be bothered messaging you back, pal. And then eventually, if you leave it for long enough, time passes. You don't actually speak to that person anymore because school allows you to like conform a social environment you're forced into every day. So you can maintain friendships very easily when you see a person all the time. But see if you don't keep in contact with somebody, it's like everybody becomes a stranger with time. Not enough time passes, you don't know somebody anymore. So Joe speaks to that to me. Speaks to that scenario of transitioning the emotional transition from being like a late teenager to a young adult.
Thanks for that little insight. HB, you have one?
He's being very good about his answers. But here's one about RapPad again. Do you think that the people on RapPad are getting more friendlier or more toxic?
As far as I can tell, they've done a better job of clearing it up. Like there is at least some level of moderation. Whereas, like for a couple of years when I started, it was pretty much there wasn't any rules, and in some senses that's fine because like you need an open environment of speech to create within music because you need to be able to openly express what you feel. And if you're restricted by the language and what you say, then you're restricting somebody's creativity. So, but I don't know necessarily if the forum is the forum's the best place to express some of the things they're saying to people. Like if you make a diss track or you make a track about somebody and then you put some of the stuff you put in the forums, and nobody's really going to complain. But it was for a while quite a toxic place because of the different interactions between people. Like it was just a constant. People just like to beat people down instead of just like putting a hand down and try to pick people up. Like try and build the person below you up, try and build the person next to you up so we can all get better at the same time. Because if you increase the overall quality around you, then you will then be forced to increase your quality as well. If a person next to you gets better and the other person next to you gets better, you get better, everybody gets better, the overall quality rises. And that's what's happened probably for the last 6 months to a year. Like better people have come in and raised the bar, and that's forced everybody to step up. Everybody's has to bring a tight track, properly produced now, to have any resemblance of getting played properly on the site. Because more people now are bringing like real tracks. Like I'm not really bringing real tracks. I can't produce personally. Like I don't really have the skill set to sit down, or the patience really to sit down and produce things. So most of my tracks are like very poorly produced in comparison to what they're doing now in RapPad. And that's what I mean by increasing the quality. Once enough people increases the quality, I'm forced to increase my quality. And now if I need to just release a track, I now need to go to a producer and even get it mixed properly because I can't compete with everybody else who's got better mixing than me anymore. I think that's a good thing. It's not as toxic as it was.
He has a very good insight. I was talking about this later before you came on here. I did an interview. You and I are very like because we both see that we don't have time to deal with some of the stuff that is going on here, and people are just not like how you said they would get a beer for one another. The problem is they're just not gonna do that because I call what people are now Gen Z babies because that's exactly what they are. They will never change into a good type of person. You just have to right now you just have to ride along just how everything is. But of course you just have to hope that it'll get better in the future.
Some of it's just the average age of the site as well, right? The average age of the site is much younger than I am, so realistically that's going to be like If the average age of the site's between, let's say, 13 and 16, then you're going to have a much more immature conversation than you would have if the average age was between 20 and 25. So I think some of that's just, I reckon the average age of the sites went up a couple of years as well in the last couple of years. I think people are getting done and maturing as well. So that's just your age. Like, you realise that yourself. Think about what you were like when you were 8 in comparison to what you're like now. It'll be the exact same when you turn 18. You'll be looking back at when you were 13 and going, how was I ever like that? And it's the same for everybody. Like, people mature with time. You're not always like that. I'm acutely aware of that. Like, people just, it's an age difference. I don't mind that. I can enjoy it at times. I don't mind I would call it banter. It doesn't really bother me, because at the end of the day, right, it's online. It's not like the person's turn up at my door and going and then shouting abuse at my window. Like, I can press the X button and leave at any point, and then I never have to read it again, or I can just not read it at all. Like, I've got perfect control over the messages on RapPad. So as long as you press the X button, they have no control over you. Like, fine, go back to your normal life. Nobody knows you. It's easy.
I get what you're saying. Alright. I'm loving these answers so far, for real though. Alright, let's see. To kill this awkwardness, let's move on. Now we're gonna go inside your head, if you don't mind us going inside.
I don't believe what you're hearing.
Oh god, you like being extra. Okay. We're going inside now. And this is about your insight in music itself. So I'm gonna know your creative process. What's your creative process? What's your process of writing a song? In your eyes, in your mind.
I think the mistake people make when they try to understand their own creative process, they don't, like, when you're in the state of mind of writing, just try to remember how you felt when you were writing that track. Like, see, when you're motivated and when you can write, you've just tricked your brain to be in that state of mind, because your brain's consistently transitioning through like different states. Like, when you're angry, like, that's like a state. When you're like happy, that's a state. There'll be a particular state of mind where you kick into your creative process, and as long as you can figure out what gets you into that creative process, you can always trigger yourself in a state of mind and write. So for me personally, I like to write like almost like I'm almost in conflict with somebody when I write. So I just create conflict with people. That's why I respond to people sometimes on RapPad, because you can get yourself into a conflictual state of mind, which then allows you to stimulate the creative process of writing. If I have no conflict, I would personally find it hard to write, because how do you write a conflictual piece unless you feel conflicted? How do you write a sad piece unless you feel sad? A happy piece unless you feel happy? Some of it is just getting yourself into the correct state of mind, and you can trick your brain into doing that by like thinking of a sad experience before you write, or thinking of something that made you like one of the best experiences before you write something happy, and then that puts you into that state of mind to like visualize it and then use and express that emotion through your writing. And then that pretty much defines how your creative process is. So like, if I wasn't writing a conflictual piece, which again I probably haven't done, I would need to go into another emotional state of mind and then figure out how to write from that. So to me, my creative process is just getting into the correct state of mind through like having conflict with somebody in some sense, usually on RapPad, and then that like stimulates that state of mind within me. Like, I'm in conflict, right? Good. Right, what the fuck can I write to get to this guy? Like, what can I write that's going to smack him down? Stuff like that. And then that gets you, let's go then. Let's see then. We'll see. And then start writing. And people say they get writer's block. Your writer's block to me is just you're not in the right state of mind. Something's happened either within your day or within your last couple of weeks, changed your state of mind that doesn't allow you to get into your creative process. You need to figure out what's changed your state of mind, and then whether it's a problem, for example, like if you get something going on in your life, like grand sick or something and you're depressed, then maybe you can't get into a state of mind to write a happy song. At times you're going to have to respect that and just write the sad song instead, or learn to then change yourself in a state of mind to write what you wanted to write originally. what writer's block is to me. You're not in the right mind state. Figure out how to get yourself into that mind state.
Okay. I see where your head's at. Get it? Because we're on top of the head. Get it? Get
Yep.
it?
Mhm.
Oh. And I'm sure HB has one because I can see him typing. We can all.
Oh, what do you want me to say?
You have a question, or should I do another one?
I think he's answering these well, so I'm gonna have to like really think about.
Yeah, this one's unexpected.
See that.
All right.
I have nothing. I have literally nothing.
Okay. Then I'll lead you into this next one. How would you describe the music that you typically create? How would you describe it?
Almost, I try to take the late 90s style and then almost dial it up a notch with the rhymes. I try to have almost, if you look at like a 90s track, a late 90s track, like a Biggie Smalls, for example, that's who I'd usually base my, like a Daddy Kane, they're sitting between 20 and 25% rhymes. So I try to go for maybe, I try to have an extra rhyme. I try to go for 33%. I try to take it up to the next level. So I'm almost like, I'm trying to find the rhyme patterns within speech and how words connect, so then I can express something with a high percentage of rhymes that actually tells you something rather than just being a bunch of rhymes combined that people sometimes pretend that's what I write. But there's like the best rhyming rappers have figured out that language follows a pattern and the phonemes you use can be expressed in different ways to allow you to make a different rhyme scheme and actually say something while you're doing it. Listen to the highest rhyme rappers. Like Eminem can do a bunch of rhymes and tell you a story at the same time. He's managed to figure out how rhyming phonemes can chain together and give you like a real picture. Because anybody can come up with 5 words that rhyme. The hard part is coming up with 5 words that rhyme and telling you something that actually means something at the end of it. So I would describe myself as somebody who's trying to marry flow with a very high rhyme percentage. And then on top of that, I'm trying to overcome an accent that isn't very musical. So my accent's awful. Can't express words in a way that's easy to understand musically because my accent is nothing like any people listen to normally. I'm not speaking normally right now. This isn't how I speak normally. I have to remember. Call it like a phone voice, I suppose. Talking to somebody on the phone and they're no Scottish. You've got to speak properly. So I need to overcome the idea that people can't always understand a Scottish accent, and that's why I believe personally that there's never been a successful Scottish rapper, because nobody can be bothered try to overcome the accent problem. And I could just try and rap in an American accent, trying to soften my accent enough where still know I'm Scottish, but it's still musical, and that's the hard part, I think. Some of that's just enunciating correctly, and then just practicing over and over, I suppose.
Okay, I totally get you. If I was Scottish, I would feel the same way.
It's a nightmare.
If I was like,
it's fine in Scotland, right? So see if I go to an open mic in Scotland, I can rap the words in my accent, but then when I try to record them, it's like, oh no, man, I forget that you guys don't know what half these words mean, and there's no chance that, like I said to you before, it's another thing I said to you before we started this. There's no chance that anybody's going to spend the time to translate my Scottish into English if they don't understand what I'm trying to say the first time. There's no chance that anybody's going to go that extra effort to try and understand what I'm saying specifically. You just turn the track off and you listen to somebody else who's easier to understand, has the same type of flow, and is just as enjoyable, but half as frustrating. And that's why there's never been a successful Scottish rapper, and I don't think there ever will be, because the accent is just, it's too much a hurdle to overcome. in my opinion.
Yeah, I totally answer that insight.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I can rap in a German accent if I wanted to, but the problem is no one's gonna understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like
that's what I mean.
That's what, like how you have it. It would be a lot difficult to do it because number one, only because you're gonna have a certain type of audience watching you, people that understand what you're saying and understand what you're saying and like actually just listening. But no one's gonna. I agree with you. I'm not gonna say no one's gonna listen to you if you have an accent, but not many people will because the higher dominant of an accent is American in a way because that's the higher language in the world. So
if you look at English rappers as well, English rappers very rarely dominate America, and their accent's easier to understand than mine. Like they can do well, but they never dominate America the way that American rappers do. And American rappers dominate the globe. They're the biggest rappers. So if an English rapper be like a London type accent who you can still understand in America is not doing top level rapping, it's going to be very hard for me with a Scottish accent to then overcome. It's just practice. I think it's probably possible, but like within Scotland, the dominant style is grime, and grime does not work with a Scottish accent because you cannot understand what people are saying with grime unless it's 100% clear. It doesn't work with accents, so that's another reason why I picked my particular style, because my particular style is a much lower syllable count per bar, which allows me to have time to then express the syllable, and it gives you time to hear what I'm actually saying. It gives you time to have a chance to go over the accent barrier.
See. Now, I don't know if we can do this last part. I don't know. Have you ever recorded music, or you always been like written and you can't record music because of your accent?
I've got recorded tracks, but I've never recorded anything in the studio or anything like that. I do have recorded tracks, but I don't really. That's why I don't record often. I don't. I suppose over the last year there was no opportunities to go anywhere, so I couldn't go to any open mics. But I used to record myself almost as like feedback before I would go. Like, can somebody tell me if this is good or not? Because I don't want to go on stage with necessarily the anxiety of that being the first time anybody other than myself hears that. So I'd post that, people would give me feedback. That would allow me to then understand, right, where were the flaws in that particular performance and how can I round this out and make what is something that is, at the time, is quite poor in comparison to what you would need to be doing, but it's a learning process. And how can I round that out when I'm actually performing at an open mic instead? So it was really just, I only really recorded to get feedback on what I was doing, and then I guess now as time's passed, it kind of helps you track your progress as well. Like you can listen to the first track you made and your most recent track, and it's obvious to you then how much you have improved because you can hear it usually. Usually, it's especially if if you get the track when you just started, like your first track, and compare that to what you're doing now. Maybe your last two tracks, it's going to be hard to tell the exact improvement you've made, but as long as you've got your original tracks, you can track your progress quite easily.
All right. I see. And to respect you, we won't do that last part because of what's going on. To respect you and all, we're not gonna do the last part then. Just so.
As you can hear, I'm whispering over here. It's nearly midnight. I'm needing my bed. I'm tired. I was working yesterday, so I had to get up early. I'm just happy we managed to get time to do it. Cause I didn't want to move you again because we've moved a couple of times, so it's good to manage to get time to do that. And it was good to have a EHP as well. Like it was a good addition. Like I thought it'd just be you, but having the balance of two people, I think that's. I maybe even try and maybe have a third person as well. Like if you can have like I think it's always good to have different people's perspectives. It was always good to hear, like, because everybody comes up with different ideas and questions, and I think that was a good addition. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your insight is very useful and very important, especially to rappers and other Scottish. And I've met people from Scotland, so you're not the only one.
I'm from different. I'm like from like 5 countries from my genes. I'm like 35% Irish, so but I don't have the accent. That's the only thing.
I might be a percentage Irish as well. There's a good chance I am. A lot of Scottish and Irish cultures, like, crossed. It's almost the same culture over the last 500 years. It's very
Only good. So far, the only good thing from Irish is I don't have to pretend. I don't have to pretend to be an Irishman on St. Patrick's Day.
we don't celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the UK the same way they do in other places. It's not really a big holiday here. Like in America, it's mental. It's like a big like event, but in the UK, we don't care. Like, it's not really a holiday here.
Oh wow, shocking.
Yeah, cultures
But
are
then
different.
Oh, yeah, yeah, totally. Okay. Since we went to the last part, I'm just gonna go straight into your end credits, which you watch a lot of TV and movies. Everybody has watched that, where there's end credits. So this is your time to kind of shout out anyone, last words, or any advice. And you've given a lot of advice. So I don't know if you want to give any others or anything.
Nah, I actually don't really like to preach people. I like to let people, like, your creative process is your creative process. But if you ask me creative process, then like I just describe it. But just everybody just has to keep doing what they're doing. Like, I haven't made anything for a while, so I'm trying back, maybe make something towards the summer. So it's been a while since I've actually made a song, but that's why I'm in this kind of stuff. I'm trying to get myself back into it. So, but I don't really have anybody to shout out. I've not really spoke to people. I've been quiet for a year. Really, I've just been working. I've been quite busy at work. I've been keeping myself, as I said earlier, like, if there's no open mics to drive me, I didn't really have the same motivation to sit down and actually work on it. But I feel like we're starting to get closer to being back to doing things. So I'm hoping, like, everything will open up again over the next couple of months. We'll be able to get back to doing what we're doing, like our normal lives. People will be able to get back to stuff like open mics, and then you'll probably hear more from me around about that time. I hope that's mainly what I do it for. Really, I have no ambitions outside of just going to open mics and just enjoying myself. Really, just a couple of friends chatting shit and that. It's just an enjoyment for me. And I wouldn't really, I don't know if it's advice, but just keep enjoying it. Make sure you're enjoying it. The second you don't enjoy it, just find something else. Like, it's only a very, very small percentage of people who actually make it as a professional rapper at the top end anyway. And for all you know, the thing that you're going to be successful at is the next thing you try. Until you find it, you can, I mean, just keep trying.
Wow, such powerful words.
No, I appreciate that, man.
Amazing, no problem. And just a big thank you. Thank you so much for being here. You're one of my favorite writers slash rapper from RapPad. So just a big thanks.
Oh, man.
You're definitely inspirational to a lot of rappers. Maybe you're hitting me a little bit with the inspiration. Maybe a little too hard, but definitely hitting the inspiration button. And we need more people like you on RapPad instead of what I'm gonna say, Gen Z babies. I'll keep saying that 100 times.
Appreciate that. Kind word.
Thank you, AHB.
You don't
Also
know.
a big thing.
There might be more of me coming.
Oh yeah, there might be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you're free all the time in the summer or something like that, but maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'll have. Maybe we could do a thing with the audience could vote to see who's the best co-host. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Make sure to follow social media and just y'all listen to last time listen to HB or I told you last time he's gonna get you.
No, I'm
And
not gonna get you.
he said that and
Okay, yeah, I said it. Let's do it. I
uh
will come. You build. If you build it, they will come.
Feel the dreams.
he likes
Yeah, feel the dream.
being extra. And when Ross sends me his links, if he has any social media links, make sure to get him and listen to him. I'll provide links later. And y'all stay tuned and thank you guys for tuning in today. Certainly a very insightful, but also very inspirational and very fun. Also, I say, one of my faves. All right, see you guys on the flip. See you guys very soon. Bye, y'all.